Hi Pisces, welcome to your August 2020 Astrology 33 general reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic card spread as always, and I pulled some Oracle cards and a Mudra card for you. So we'll get started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have the Three of Wands. So this is actually Aries energy, and this usually represents the energy of waiting for your ships to come in. So usually this is a situation where you've put in a certain amount of work, and now you're just kind of waiting for those rewards from that work to come in. So given that Aries is your second house too, this can be around finances. So for example, let's say maybe you've been working really hard at your job and maybe they might have promised you a raise, right? So you're just waiting for that raise to come around, and maybe with all the uncertainty going on with the economy, that might have been delayed for you guys. Could be, that's just one generic example of how it could work out. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. Just the general energy of you guys waiting for some rewards to come in for work that you've put in already. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Ten of Wands. So there's two ways I could see this playing out with this coming up in the challenge position. This is Sagittarius energy, which for you guys is your house of career and social status. So on the one hand, with this coming in the challenge position, it could just be saying that the challenge is that you feel like you've paid your dues, you've already put in the work. And that's why you're like, okay, I feel like I should already have the rewards of all of that work that I've put in. But I will say for a small percentage of you, what this could be saying is that the challenge is you actually have to come to the realization that there's still more work to be done. So you might have put in a certain amount of work, but maybe in order to get to the level where you really want to be, this could just be saying that there's still some more work required. In the foundation position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this is actually the court card that represents your sign. So this can just be saying that you actually want to come forward with an offer to someone. Usually this can represent love offers, but I mean, given that this represents your sign, it can be almost any area of life. This main section here, I was feeling it was more of a romance, more of a work thing, rather, as opposed to romance. But for some of you, it can be around romance as well. So could just be saying that maybe you're coming to that realization that, okay, maybe you actually want to extend the offer. And then for some of you, it might be that you already did extend an offer to someone and maybe you're just waiting to hear back from them. In the past position, we have the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. So two pretty rough energies here. Five energy usually points to conflict, and seeing the Five of Swords here, this is actually Aquarius energy. So for you guys, that's your 12th house. So this could just be saying that you might have self-sabotaged in some way regarding communication. The reason I say communication is this represents Taurus energy here, and this is actually Taurus for you guys is your house communication. So there could have been some kind of a petty argument that you guys got into, and possibly you either were withholding communication, given the silent treatment basically, or it could just be saying that due to an argument that you guys had, it might have led to the other person leaving and the communication coming to an end that way. Not necessarily seeing a specific timeline when that might have happened, but that's what I see there. It looks like there was definitely some kind of argument that was had. And for some of you, this could have been in the workplace as well. Where again, like I was saying, maybe you might have been promised some kind of a raise, right? Oh yeah, definitely. Just do this, finish this task for us and we'll give you a raise, and then that raise might have never come around. So could be how that's playing out for some of you. All right, in the present position, we have the Ten of Swords. So rough energy here. This is actually Gemini energy, which for you guys is your 4th house. But what on the positive side, what this could be pointing to is the fact that Venus will actually be moving through these final degrees of Gemini when we start August. So it could just be saying that this dynamic, this toxic dynamic that you guys have been in, might actually be coming to an end now due to that. especially since it does involve the fact that, Venus basically started its retrograde in these degrees, and now it's, at the time I'm recording this, it hasn't fully cleared its shadow yet, but it will soon. And then, like I said, in August, it's going to move through those 10 degrees and then move into Cancer, which would be a much more supportive energy for you guys. So, on the positive, that could just be pointing to, okay, whatever this dynamic you were engaged in that wasn't going well, looks like it could be coming to an end for you guys. In the near future position, we see the Six of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy. So again, we do have the communication theme there, but also, given that it's Pentacle energy, could be pointing to finances and whatever offer you might have been promised in the past. This could be an indicator that it actually will be coming your way this month. So that's definitely a positive. And if this is around, like I said, some kind of a falling out that you might have had with someone, some kind of a petty argument, and there might have been some withholding of communication, or someone might have left the situation, this could just be saying that there is the opportunity for balance to be restored in that regard. So that's a good indicator there. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Seven of Swords. So, I mean, pretty much you guys have all the worst sword cards this month. So what this could just be saying is be careful around communication in general. This card in particular makes me want to remind you guys to especially be careful around the time of that full moon in Aquarius. It'll be early on in August, and that's going to be pretty much in your 12th house. So 12th house is an energy that often makes you think of self-sabotage, and this represents Aquarius energy here too. And then that's actually going to be making a square aspect with Uranus, which is in your house of communication. And then also, obviously, with a full moon, that means that it'll be opposite the sun, and the sun will be in Leo, your 6th house. So just be mindful around communication, especially in the workplace. So one way this could be playing out, for example, is let's say you overpromise what you can get done, right? They might ask you if you could do something. You might say, oh yeah, I could totally do that. Bite off way more than you can chew, and then it might end up backfiring because you don't get it all done, and they, from their perspective, they have the agreement that, oh, okay, Pisces is going to do this, so that could end up backfiring you in that regard. And then if this is just a cycle that you're with, like if this is a relationship thing, for example, it could just be saying that be careful not to leave out things there as far as, I don't know if you guys would be doing like a petty, like a revenge cycle or something like that, but just be mindful of that energy. Like I said, especially that, let's just say you might as well say the whole first week of August, be mindful of that potential because of that full moon energy. All right, in the environment position, we have the Chariot in reverse. So this is actually the major arcana card for Cancer. Now, for some of you, it could just be pointing to a lack of energy if this is representing air energy, or maybe you're just maybe you're lacking in creativity, and maybe that's why you might be tempted to cut corners this month, right? Because you agree to something, but then you're running out of ideas on how to actually execute it. So just be mindful of that. If this represents someone else, this could just be saying that they might not be ready to move forward with the situation yet. So if there was a falling out, yes, we do see that Six of Pentacles energy there, but it could just be saying that it might require a little bit of work, and you might have to give them some time to come around. For a small percentage of you, this can represent some travel issues as well. Maybe even as simple as you might have to cancel some travel plans, something along those lines, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Three of Swords and the Seven of Cups. So I'm going to assume that this is a fear. I don't think many people hope for the Three of Swords. So for this to be a fear with the Seven of Cups could just be saying that you might fear making the wrong decision around love. For some of you, it can be a work situation as well, since I was feeling that theme earlier, but that's what I'm seeing there. There could be some fear around making the wrong decision because you feel like you're not seeing the situation clearly. Maybe you just have a lot of options around you, and you're worried about making the wrong choice, but that's what I'm seeing there. And what I always do say to people, though, with the cards in the hopes or fears position, it's not really, indicative of this energy actually playing out. It's just saying that that's something that's on your mind. So something to think about there. And in the outcome position, you guys have the Tower, the Eight of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant. So, I mean, a lot of rough energies in this reading. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of a rough month from the looks of it. But some of it, at the very least, some of it, I would say, looks avoidable. Like I was saying, be careful around potentially trying to cut corners in a certain situation. Definitely. I feel that more in a workplace dynamic than anything in that regard. And then, like I said, just communication in general. If you do want to avoid a big argument, just try to be mindful of communication that first week of August because of that full moon energy we talked about. But yeah, with the Tower here, I do have to say, if this is around a romantic situation, this Tower moment could be one of those things where if both of you guys are coming out of ego, because to be fair, with the Five of Swords energy, usually both people are playing a part in that in a negative way, and that's why usually there is no true winner of the outcome. So with that said, if this is a situation where both of you are being petty in a situation, could just be saying that it might actually take a Tower moment to shake you guys out of that and then actually restart the communication. This actually often, for me, is viewed as Pisces energy, so obviously to see this come out in the outcome, that's a positive for you guys in that regard. And then this is Taurus energy. So again, your house communication, but some of you might be dealing with a Taurus. And again, like I said, this, if this is around the workplace thing too, be mindful. Try not to cut any corners because that could backfire on you guys this month. So, and I do have to say also, just try to be careful with travel this month, just because we do see that Chariot in reverse in the environment and then the Tower. So, for example, you might be doing perfectly fine driving, but someone around you might not be paying attention, right? So then that could cause an issue. So just try to be a little extra alert and aware this month when it comes to travel. See if anything else comes to mind. Yeah, like I said, for most of you, I do think that this Tower moment would be avoidable. Like I said, it's just that you got to watch out for those warning signs there. That first week of August could be tricky. And then if this is around impatience too, just keep in mind that the energy will be a lot more supportive for you guys as we get closer to the end of August. And very early in September too, there's going to be a full moon in your sign. And that one's actually going to be making a much better aspect with Uranus in your house communication. So anything, if you do step in it in some way, as they say, that could just be pointing to you might have to wait until that time to be able to fix the situation. And if it's around workplace stuff, when we get to that new moon towards the end of Leo season, that actually would be a more supportive energy for you guys to get some improvement in your work situation. All right. So moving on to the Oracle cards. Oh, and actually I forgot to mention, we have the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is actually Pisces energy, represents the middle 10 degrees. So again, to me this points to wish fulfillment, of course, but it could just be saying that, especially given the surrounding energies we see here, just be careful around how you go about getting there, right? So, like I said, a little bit more patience as opposed to cutting corners in a certain way. Looks like you might end up getting where you want to be anyway, so, but just be mindful of the fact that if you do cut corners, it can go off the rails pretty quickly this month. Alright, so the first Oracle card we have is Orphaned. There's the artwork, and the number is 5. We'll see what that has to say. A sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. The Oracle's message: we were all meant to have connections with other people, within our families, society, and a larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before, and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. So definitely an interesting message there. And to be fair, with those two cards we see in the past energy there, that could even be pointing to the dynamic there as well, where maybe you might have stuck around with a group that you felt was toxic for you, right? That ended up in these types of dynamics just out of fear of being alone with that Five of Pentacles energy. And maybe this is the month where you finally do kind of snap out of that. And maybe that's what the Tower moment is saying there in a more positive sense, that with the High Priestess and Hierophant in the outcome could just be saying you find people of like mind this month. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. The relationship message says, as you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for support but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting away from this relationship because you're in a different stage of personal growth. Perhaps you are in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get to that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you and will steer you in the direction of those who accept you as you are without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. It won't be worth the price. So definitely a good message there as well. And I will say, for some of you, it could just be one of those things where if you haven't expressed these things to someone that you might be in a relationship with, what it could be saying there is, you might have to have that tough conversation with the Tower and then the Eight of Wands immediately beneath that. But then you guys might actually come into alignment with the Hierophant and the High Priestess there. So something to keep in mind there too. And like I said, if it is around communication, you might want to avoid that the first week of the month, because I feel like it might come off wrong, even if you don't mean anything by it. But later in the month, especially at worst case, by the time we get to the full moon in your sign, it would be a much better time to communicate those things. So hopefully that resonated with you as well. All right. Next, we got two cards from the second Oracle deck. The first one we got was Wombat Spirit. It says, be at home. There's the artwork and the number 68. Maybe that's a good message as well. Just saying, maybe that's the Oracle card's way of saying just chill at home for the month, ride this energy out, and then next month things will be better, but we'll see what it actually says. All right, it says, burrowing deep into the ground, remaining safe, sound, and well-fed with family is a special trait of the wombat. Home sweet home is always available if you recognize that well-being is the truth of life. Wombat Spirit reminds you that to be truly at home in the world, you need to find comfort within your own skin. You do this by accepting all your experience without judgment, through a deep honesty and love of life. When you feel the freedom to be yourself, you can begin to truly feel at home in your life with your family and tribe. Right now you're in a beautiful place where you can hang up the coat of your identity and settle into a true sense of home and well-being, understanding that all is well. Everything you do from this place rings true in harmony with Spirit. So definitely a pretty good message there, and hopefully that resonated with you. And then the next message we have is Canary Spirit, sing your own song. There's the artwork, and the number is 12. Okay, it says, Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Feel free to experience your inner light and let it shine, as Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. So yeah, another thing there, and then that makes me think, especially that, we see the yellow with the canary and then the yellow here. This could just be saying that, you might have been compromising a situation and self-sabotaging in a way as far as maybe not revealing all of your authentic self, right? Like you might have told them some things about you with those 2 swords there, but then there might have been a lot that you might have kept hidden, right? With those 5 swords he's carrying away. So it could just be saying the message there is to open up a little bit more, and you might actually be surprised that it might actually move the relationship forward in a positive way. So, and then that, given that that's 7 energy there, and then the Chariot also is 7 energy, that could be saying that that actually could be what's preventing you from moving forward, is the fact that you haven't been more open and expressive about all that you are, So hopefully that resonated with you guys as well. All right, and finally we have a Mudra card. The Mudra you guys got for this month is Mandala Mudra. That's it there. And the keyword is vision. All right. Looks like we got everything in a frame there. So if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say, you can. But under benefits, it says awakens supreme devotion and enlightened attitude, improves concentration, evokes insight into the transitory nature of all things, serves as a physical expression of your own original nature. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.